Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Aftermath here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, Air the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, obviously, I'm not going to wear a hat today because my head is too hot, and I'm probably going to get a haircut here in the next couple days anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm actually starting to go. My forehead is definitely, it used to be about right here where my hairline was, and now it's all the way up here now, so yeah, I'm definitely balding pretty badly. You can see my hair starting to thin pretty bad in my front ears, which is too. So that tends to be why I don't like to keep it long and all anymore. And I don't think I can keep it really much longer than it is right now currently. Um, so usually I like to just have them go to like a Great Clips or something like that. Just have them cut there and then just go all the way up and do like a number. It's either number one or number two. I get usually. I think it's a number two because it's like basically one stage above like them doing like scalping / skinhead kind of, you know, size is what it is there. So I tend to have like a little teeny bit of hair left there is what it is, and they finally get their thing done. It depends on the chick doing it too, by the way, because there's some that are much better than others at those places, and there's some that just suck ass is what it is. Because there's the one girl I've been seeing here the last couple times I've gone there, and she's pretty good, and she's smart about how she does it because she'll like zip and then she'll like do like a like that like kind of thing is what it is to like make sure it like evens out and stuff like that. Where there's some chicks it'll just be like they'll just do like one pass is what it is or whatever, and there'll still be some that's like off there is what it is or whatever, and so you end up having a situation there where when you get home or whatever, there's like some either like right behind the ear that they didn't get properly, or there's just like a little bit here you got to almost take a secondary like a little buzzer thing too and get like whatever that's left over is what it is there, which I've had to do that at least twice from that place. But and for what you're paying for that damn haircut, it's definitely not worth it is what it is. So yeah, unfortunately I missed my time to get $5 off cut from their thing, but I do have another $3 one is what it is right now. So potentially I can hopefully get that one done then the other day or in a couple of days. Here's what it will be, and then just take enough money with me then to pay them off. Then the problem that I do have with Great Clips too is it seems like every location is different prices, which is fucking ridiculous. Because there's some around here that they're like $15 for a haircut, but then the local one I have right now is like 20, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that shit? So it's just it should be a little more 10, honestly, truthfully speaking, and that should include a little bit of a beard, you know, level out, whatever the case be there, like little like trim up, like shave off the like excess, whatever it is there. So yeah, I had a good chat last night on Honda's chat. We had almost a full panel for the first time in a long time. NEA showed up about halfway through, sort of took over the chat for a little bit there, as it was, and some of us got some words in edgewise. I know I got some words in edgewise. Unfortunately, there's a couple people there that didn't really get a chance to talk at all. I know Leo didn't get a chance to really say much. I know that Van Drake didn't really he got some in there, obviously, against Infernus and stuff like that. Infernus was all about that anti-Trump shit, though, man. And I'm just like, damn, dude, like, Jesus. I did like how Matt kind of called him out on it, though. He's like, yeah, who was your life better under Trump or Biden? It's like, there you go. That's who I'm voting for. And I can't disagree with that, honestly, dude. It's like, you know, I mean, technically I can blame everybody at this point for, you know, my mom's not here, my uncle's not here anymore. Over the whole, you know, 2020 fucking BS stuff that shouldn't have been an operation approval and stuff like that. But, you know, or I could just look ahead and be like, okay, are we going to have an election this year? Or are we going to have some kind of crazy ass, you know, fucking shit go down or something? Which, I mean, at this point, it wouldn't surprise me. Somebody mentioned something to me about, I guess it's like 5 events to a martial law or something. I don't know if that's true or not, because I can see it being even less than that, you know. No, I don't want you having access to my location, motherfuckers. Like, what the hell, dude? So, alright, let's check this out real quick. So we got Berlin Center for Justice saying declaring martial law in America. Martial law has been declared at least 68 times in the United States. God explains why, where, and when, where, and why. Okay. It's always stops. Let's see. Martial law has been mirrored in confusion in the United States, but that has not always stopped state and federal authorities from declaring it. Indeed, 68 declarations across U.S. history. Okay, let's see. Declaration of martial law. Okay, so here, see, this is my problem right here, right? So, declaration of martial law due to war or invasion. Then why the hell aren't we already in a martial law if there's fucking invasion at the goddamn border? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's because the cheers that are currently illegally in power are the ones doing the fucking invasions for their own fucking benefit. So, of course, it's not going to happen, dude. And we got domestic war or insurrection, riot or civil unrest, labor disputes, natural disasters, and then 15 were others. So 2 were wars or invasions, 7 were domestic war / insurrection. Then there was another 11 that was due to rioting and civil unrest. 29 were due to labor disputes, 4 were due to natural disasters, and then 15 were in the other category. So interestingly enough, when you look at the labor dispute thing there, that can also go back to the insurrection stuff, dude, because when you look at the insurrection acts when they were declared in this country a bunch of times and throughout the 1800s and stuff like that, a lot of times it was over like people that were getting fucked over on like railways and stuff like that, or it was that one time with the Pinkertons killing a bunch of people there on that one that were trying to basically, strike at that time. Like, I think it was the Pullman strike or whatever then. So, yeah, very interesting stuff for sure. So, let's go ahead and check these out, though. So, we got war and invasion. So, we had General Andrew Jackson declares martial law before the Battle of New Orleans in 1814. Okay, and then we got President Franklin Roosevelt approves the declaration of martial law in Hawaii after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. That makes sense, honestly. So, yeah, so the duration of Andrew Jackson's declaration before the Battle of New Orleans was 3 months between December 12th, 1814 and March 13th, 1815. The declaration after Pearl Harbor was between December 7th, 1941 and October 24th, 1944, lasted 2 days, 10 months, and 17, lasted 2 years, 10 months, and 17 days. Declaring authority was Governor J.B. Poindexter. Really? We actually had a guy named Poindexter back in the day? I thought that was just some bullshit that somebody made up over the time. I gotta look this up now, dude, because that's fucking funny. So apparently it's a company now, owned by J.P. Morgan. Oh, holy shit, he actually was a guy. Appointed to the governorship of Hawaii by Roosevelt in 1934. He was reappointed by to the governorship in 1938. Was the only second territorial governor to that point to serve more than one term in office. So his name was Joseph Poindexter. That's funny. We need to really bring back like the mustache and beard games and political power in this country, dude. Because it seemed like there were so many guys back in the day that were so much more manly that had like full-blown mustaches and sweet-ass beards like mine. So I know for a fact the last one that was like that in Ohio as a governor was like a couple hundred years ago now, if I'm not mistaken, or pretty close to a couple hundred years ago now. So, yeah. All right, continuing on here, though, for the declarations of martial law in America. We had domestic war or insurrection. We got Rhode Island General Assembly declares martial law during the Dorr War of 1842. What the hell is the Dorr War? Let's see, the Dorr Rebellion. This is something I'm learning new, by the way. I never knew about this thing. So the Dorr Rebellion was from 1841 to 1842, also known as the Dorr Rebellion, Dorr War, or Dorr's War, or Dorr War. It was an attempt by residents to force broader democracy into the state of Rhode Island. It was led by Thomas Wilson Dorr, who mobilized his followers to demand changes to the state electoral rules. The state was still using its 1663 colonial chapter as a constitution, which required the votes owned let's see, which required that voters own land as qualification to vote. Okay, so that makes sense because that was like to the time where we actually had like legitimately, a U.S. Constitution that was talking about everybody gets the right to vote as a man then. So, let's see. So the rebellion established a parallel government alongside the existing chartered government and wrote a new constitution for Rhode Island. It failed, but it forced the rewriting of the state constitution to expand eligibility to vote. So see, and that's the thing, dude. Not always things really fail because, yeah, it might have failed in its entirety, supposedly, but in the long run, it actually succeeded because it forced that state to rewrite their state constitution to make eligibility for guys to be able to vote. That's what it is. Well, they didn't have their own land, is what it was there. So yeah, see, everything works out for a reason. There is what it is at some point, dude. So anyway, but yeah, the declaration there in the 1800s lasted for how long was it there? From June 25th, 1842 to May 1843. It lasted 11 months there. Then we got Governor Brigham Young declares martial law during the Utah War in 1857. You got General John C. Fremont declares martial law in Missouri in response to the Camp Jackson affair and a Confederate insurgency in 1861. So that was during Civil War. You had President Abraham Lincoln declares martial law during the U.S. Civil War in 1862. That lasted for 4 years until 1866. That was also a time where you had martial law, not martial law, you had insurrection declared during that time as well. I think it was under Lincoln's orders. And we got President Abraham Lincoln declares martial law in Kentucky during the U.S. Civil War in 1864. Lasted for 1 year and 3 months till 1865. We got North Carolina Governor William Holden declares martial law during the Kirk-Holden War of 1870. What is the Kirk-Holden War? I'm going to look that shit up now. Let's see. Kirk-Holden War was a police operation taken against the white supremacist organization, the Ku Klux Klan, by the government in the state of North Carolina in the United States in 1870. So the Klan was using murder and intimidation to prevent recently freed slaves and members of the Republican Party. Interestingly, yeah, and see right there, and everybody says fucking Republican Party was the fucking party of the Klan, yet it was actually the Klan that was the fucking Democrat-created party, you dumbasses. Fucking Democrat-created hate is what it was there. That were intimidating freed slaves and members of the Republican Party from exercising their right to vote in the aftermath of the American Civil War. So yeah, go fuck yourselves, the leftists, you fucking lying pricks. So, no, it was literally the fucking Klan was white hate underneath fucking Clinton's party, the Democrats. So, anyway, it says following the increase in Klan activity in North Carolina, including the murder of a black town commissioner in, not sure how to pronounce that county's name, and the murder of a Republican state senator in Caldwell County, Republican governor of North Carolina, William W. Holden, who again was rocking a badass beard, declared areas to be in a state of insurrection in accordance with the Sloffner Act, which was a statute intended to restore order in North Carolina counties where KKK violence raged. It says Holden ordered a militia be raised to restore order in the counties and arrest Klansmen suspected of violence. This resulted in the creation of the 1st and 2nd North Carolina troops, which Holden placed under the overall command of Colonel George Washington Kirk, this guy right here, who was also rocking a badass beard and mustache game, dude. Like, seriously, man, it was all fucking manly men back in those days that kicked some ass, bro. Anyway, said in July 1870, Kirk oversaw the deployment of the 2nd North Carolina troops in that first county and then also in Caldwell, while the 1st North Carolina troops garrisoned the city of Raleigh, which was, I think, is their state capital, if I'm not mistaken now. So a total of 82 men in that Alamance County and 19 in Caldwell were detained on suspicion of being Klan-related activities, so basically being Klansmen is what it was there, including a former member of the United States Congress and the sheriffs of both counties. So literally the sheriffs were actually Klansmen, is what they're saying there potentially. Which makes sense because I know there was a lot of sheriffs back then and like different police and stuff like that, dude, that actually put on the white hoods and shit like that. That's why they couldn't identify what it was. Because they didn't want people knowing they were actually the fucking sheriff of a town or like, you know, a mayor or something like that's what it was, or a city councilman or whatever the fuck it is there, dude. So, by the way, we're all Democrats, just to point that one out. So, continuing on here, it said, oh, that's cool. They actually have a conflicts of the Reconstruction era here. You got Memphis riots of 1866, New Orleans massacre of 1866, the Pulaski riot of 1868, the, not sure if I pronounced that word, Opelousas massacre of 1868, the Barber Mittsfield feud, the Landry War, or Lowry War, took place in some county in North Carolina from 1864 to 1874 between a group of mostly Native American outlaws and civil, loyal state and federal authorities. Interesting. And we had the Kirk Holden War of 1870, the Marion Race Riot of 1871, the Colfax Massacre that happened in 1873, the Brooks-Baxter War. I know about that one because that one was actually one of the insurrections, if I'm not mistaken, there. Let's see, the Battle of Liberty Place in 1874. You had Vicksburg Massacre from 1874 to 1875, and the South Carolina Civil Disturbances of 1876, which is also known as the Humbug Massacre. So, yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are always like, oh, America wasn't at war all that much. The fuck we weren't, motherfucker. Like, dude, we had so many wars, so many conflicts, so many rebellions, so many fucking riots and shit. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, we are a country that was founded upon violence and had to maintain a level of violence to make peace. Like, get the fuck out of here if you don't think that shit. So, yeah, everything going on now is just a modern day rendition of that stuff is what it is, dude. Seriously. All you know in history books is that stuff, too, for that matter. Or all these leftists are the bad guys, by the way. I want to point that one out. So, anyway. Let's see. So you had 82 guys in that Alamance County, and then 19 in Caldwell that were basically suspected of being like Klansmen and stuff like that, including an ex-congressman at the time and multiple county sheriffs in both those counties. And it said Klan activity in both counties promptly ceased. No one was killed during the campaign, although the militiamen at times showed poor discipline and used foul language. Really? That was it? They didn't beat shit out anybody or anything like that? Anyways, his Kirk's second in command also exceeded his orders and sent men to arrest a newspaper editor in Orange County, which was not declared to be an insurrection. It said Holden initially refused to have the men brought to regular courts under writs of habeas corpus, which, by the way, is how they're breaking our constitutional rights right now, because with red flag laws and stuff like that, you're supposed to have a writ of habeas corpus to actually have somebody, you know, be able to meet their accuser and stuff like that in a court of law and be able to, you know, face their accusers. What it is there is what it really is, honestly. Which is not done because you have people going to the courts behind people's backs and then having people, you know, show up at somebody's house to like steal their gun rights is what it is then. Under the name of like policing is what it is in this country. So anyway, it says planning. All right now. Yeah, so weren't brought to regular courts under habeas corpus, planning to have them try them by military tribunal, but eventually gave way to pressure from Chief Justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court, Raymond Munford Pearson, and United States District Court Judge George Washington Brooks. As a result, 49 men were indicted in court for crimes, but all were ultimately acquitted and released by late August of that year. Jeez. Says militiamen were also deployed to guard polling stations during North Carolina's legislative elections on August 4th, but Holden's use of militia, as well as other complaints about Republican corruption and Klan intimidation, led to the Conservatives and Democrats to take a majority of seats from the North Carolina General Assembly, says Holden ordered the so what the fuck was the other guy then? Was he a Whig Party guy? Like what the hell? Because it says conservatives and Democrats. Like they obviously weren't the same thing though, is what it was. They were two different groups, I'm assuming at that point, like two different political parties. So that's just weird. Yeah, that's just written very oddly, is what it is. Maybe what they meant was it was corruption there that led to the other party or whatever taking the majority of seats in the North Carolina General Assembly. That's what it was. I don't know. Weird. Anyways, his whole northern militia disbanded on September 21st. On November 10th, he declared that there was no longer a state of insurrection in Abilene and Caldwell counties. So, okay, here we go. Conservative and Democratic-leaning newspapers heavily criticized his actions and his political opponents, coined the name Kirk-Holden War to describe the affairs. The General Assembly subsequently filed articles of impeachment against him in December and ultimately removed him from office on March of 1871. It says Holden was the first governor in the U.S. to be removed in such fashion in his campaign against the Klan, and the impeachment crippled the image of the Republican Party of North Carolina for many years. General Assembly subsequently repealed the Staffner Act and passed another law designed to grant amnesty to Klansmen. So, okay, so here's the ironic thing about that, right? So you had this dude who was trying to go after the fucking actual white supremacist Klan at that time, get removed from power, most likely by a bunch of fucking Klansmen that were in the North Carolina General Assembly. And then those motherfuckers literally repealed the law, being this act right here is what it was there, that would have actually gone after Klansmen, and instead passed a law that granted them amnesty. And that's why they called them the Dixiecrats, by the way. So, yep, good old Democrat Party, dude. Always the fucking party of hate and racism in this country. Fucking ridiculous is what it is, dude. So, anyway. So we had that one. Let's see. Where are we at now? Okay, this is all the times it was declared. Which, so where we are now. Yeah, or the domestic war or insurrections in this country. Okay, so you had Rhode Island in 1842. That one in 1857. 1861. Lincoln in 1862 and 64. Then we have that Kirk-Holden War in 1870, followed by Texas Governor Lawrence Sullivan Ross declares martial law during the Jaybird Woodpecker War of 1889. Who makes up the names of these fucking things? Like, I gotta look that one up now, dude, because that just seems too fucking weird to. It was like a several-day war, apparently. Let's see, the Jaybird Woodpecker War was a feud between two United States Democrat Party factions. Of course it was. Of course. So it was basically the establishment left versus the far left, is my guess on that one. This is fighting for political control of Fort Bend County, Texas, in the southwest part of the state. It says the Jaybird Democrat Association was an all-white political organization formed in 1887 by young men to challenge and regain control of the county government from the biracial coalition of former white and black Republicans, aka the Woodpeckers, who had dominated the county Democrat Party and county government since 1869. It says murders and political assassinations were committed against persons in each faction in both 1888 and 1889. Said the Jaybird Woodpecker War ended when the Jaybirds defeated the black-supported Woodpeckers in a battle in Richmond, Texas, the county seat for the Fort Bend County, in August 1889. So with support from Texas Governor Lawrence Ross and the Houston Light Guards. The fuck is that? Oh, it was a militia back in those days? Okay. Yeah, so the first unified state militia company formed after Civil War. That is a really weird name to call yourself. The Light Guards? Like, really? Like, really, man? Come on, you couldn't make a better fucking name than that, man? Jesus. Good lord. Anyway, it said the complete reorganization of the county government results in the removal or resignation of all woodpecker officials and the selection of jaybirds or persons acceptable to the jaybirds to fill those offices. So basically, it was the, racist motherfuckers taking back over what was there in that one. It says, after the turbulent era of more than 20 years, the white citizenry once more controlled the government. The effects of the post-Reconstruction feud echoed in local politics for decades. It says, Jaybird victory basically restored white supremacy in the country, is what they claim, or in the county is what they claim there. So they disenfranchised black voters in the county by using a, quote, white-only ballot in preliminary party voting from 1889 until 1953. Holy shit, man. Damn. That's super fucking racist. So you're talking about almost 100 fucking, like 70 fucking years or something like that. They did that shit for almost, it sounds like there. Let's figure this out. 1889, so that'd be 1890, so that'd be 11 years. Yeah, 64 fucking years, dude. Jesus Christ. It says the Jaybird organization and the disenfranchisement spread to other counties in the state and remained active politically until the civil rights movement. That's pretty pathetic right there, honestly, dude. So this device lasted until 1950 when Willie Melton and Arizona Fleming, who's later right here, so won a lawsuit against the practice in the United States District Court, although it was overturned on appeal. In 1953, they ultimately won their seat when the Supreme Court of the United States declared the Jaybird primary unconstitutional in Terry versus Adams, the last of the white preliminary cases. That's pathetic, dude, that it took that fucking long. But again, going back, dude, look, it's the Democrat Party, legitimately. That's always been the party of racism in this country. Like, for real, people. Like, what is it, like the second or third time they've had that in these fucking insurrections and wars and shit like that we're looking up right now is what it is from martial law times? And we're not even in the 1900s yet, for that matter, for God's sakes. That's what's even more pathetic, dude. So... anyway, so that was the last of the domestic war stuff there. And we got riot or civil unrest. We had General Absalom Baird declares martial law in response to the New Orleans massacre of 1866. Then we got Governor Watson Squire declares martial law in Seattle in response to the anti-Chinese rioting of 1886. That lasted 15 days, apparently. So, apparently the backstory on that one was President Grover Cleveland issued a proclamation to disperse under the Insurrection Act. As a result, some writers have incorrectly concluded that it was Cleveland who declared martial law. So, yeah, interesting. So I'm assuming this had to do with, like, them riding against China is what it was, or the Chinese that were in that area at the time, probably, would be my assumption. So, anyway. Then we got, I think this might be in my state, actually. Ohio Governor George K. Nash declares martial law in response to the Akron riot of 1900. Lasted for 5 days between August 23rd and August 27th. Now I gotta look that one up, dude. Akron riot of 1900. What the hell was this about now? Let's see, on August 22nd, 1900, Akron experienced the worst riot in the town's history and possibly worst riot in Ohio history. Followed the abduction and sexual assault of a 6-year-old daughter of the Mass family while in front of her home. That's fucked up, man. Yeah, I could see that turning into a riot because there was some people probably that were involved in that girl's, abduction and assault is what it is, that probably got their asses strung up in the fucking streets of Akron, Ohio, would be my assumption there. And then it was basically people that were buddies of theirs started to fucking, fight back against people that were all the ones that, strung their asses up at that point then. So, at least I would assume anyway. Let me go check this whole thing right now. Okay, go ahead to further explanation here. Okay, let's see. So, yeah, you had worst riot in Ohio history, abduction, sexual assault of a 6-year-old girl at Mass family while in front of her home. So, at around midnight that day, Lewis Peck, an African-American who had been working as a bartender on Howard Street in Akron, was arrested at a train station in Cleveland, but then brought back to Akron where he confessed to the crime. So it was some little girl being raped by some black dude. It said, next day, newspapers exaggerated Peck's confession. Even printed the confession in red ink. Said a mob gathered in front of the newly built city building and threatened a lynching. Police chief arraigned for Peck and another black man to be moved to Cleveland for their safety. In the evening, crowds grew even larger, demanding Peck and attempting to enter the city building, but were barred by police. Tensions escalated after police returned fire into the crowd after shots were fired towards them, and 2 small children were killed in the crossfire. Well, that's even more horrible, dude. So you had 3 kids eventually. You had 1 kid get, assaulted, and then you had assaulted/raped. And then you had 2 get killed in that situation. It says the mob resorted to dynamite. Jesus Christ, dude. Like, man, shit really got fucking intense here 124 years ago. Holy fuck. I think we got to put on the Ohio hat just for that one, dude. Like, let's roll, baby. Because that got fucking insane. By the way, back in those days, you could actually just walk into a fucking general store and buy dynamite. Or at least in the 1800s you could anyway, back in them days. Up to, usually it was adults, but I think there was also kids who could do it too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's a mob resorted to dynamite, blowing up the city building and also the courthouse in attempts to reach that Peck guy. It says rioters even attacked firemen who attempted to put out the fire by throwing bricks and cutting their hoses. So the rioters burned the downtown fire station to the ground. Good lord, this sounds like 2020 all over again, dude. So at some point during the riot, the mayor called to the crowd from the window of a building that Peck had been taken to. Peck had been taken from Akron to so he's saying that he already been taken from Akron up to Cleveland. There's what it is. But the crowd refused to believe this. So the mob violence lasted mob violence lasted to 4 o'clock the next morning. So when the governor declared martial law and sent soldiers to restore order, 31 men and boys were later convicted of charges related to the riot. Louis Peck was convicted in less than 20 minutes. There was no lawyer who would take his case. In 1913, he was freed by Governor Cox for wrongful imprisonment. How the fuck are you going to say that dude was freed for wrongful imprisonment when the motherfucker literally admitted to raping a kid, man? The fuck? Like, Jesus Christ, my friends. That actually shows the corruption going all the way back to that time period of history. Like, fuck that Cox guy who was governor of this state, dude. Yeah, fuck James Middleton Cox. Oh, of course. And what the fuck was this dude? A clean-shaven ass motherfucker who was also a fucking Democrat. Is anyone shocked that it was a Democrat that let some fucking rapist off, some pedophile off? Because I'm sure as shit not. Fucking scumbag. What a piece of shit, dude. Fucking asshole. I'm about to go find that dude's grave and piss on it, honestly, at this point, because fuck that guy, man. Seriously. Actually, I wonder where his grave actually is located at this point, just so I can know for the future what it would be then, dude. If I ever got to relieve myself at some point in the future there. So. Anyway. But continuing on, going back here. Let's see. Then for the riot stuff, we continue on here. And that one here in Akron to Texas Governor James Ferguson declares martial law in response to the Houston riot of 1917, which lasted for several days apparently. Check out the Houston riot of 1917. I don't know why it keeps bringing up like that shit. It's an Wikipedia article. Houston Riot of 1917, also known as the Camp Logan Mutiny, was a mutiny and riot by 156 soldiers from the all-black 24th Infantry Regiment of the United States Army, taking place on August 23rd, 1917. So that's almost 107 years to the day right now. In Houston, Texas, the incident occurred within the climate of overt hostility from members of the all-white Houston Police Department against the members of the local black community and black soldiers stationed at Camp Logan. This is following an incident where police officers arrested and assaulted black soldiers. Many of their comrades mutinied and marched to Houston, where they opened fire and killed 11 civilians. Jesus Christ, dude, including minor Freddie Winkler and 5 policemen. It says 5 soldiers were also killed in this. It said in accordance with policies at the time, 118 soldiers were tried in 3 courts. 3 court martials is what they're saying there on that one. 110 were convicted, of whom 19 were executed and 63 were sentenced to life imprisonment. Damn. So November 2023, the Army set aside all 110 convictions. Jesus. Well, I guess it doesn't matter when you had 63 of them get sentenced to life imprisonment and 19 be killed. So, yeah, that's fucked, man. Like again, this is how bloody our country was, people. Fucking nuts, dude. I should have made this into an actual grandstand at this point, then not an aftermath, but maybe change the name of it to like Martial Law in America or something like that. I don't think I can do that right now, can I? I don't think I can. Let's see if it'll let me. Oh no, I guess I can't. Sweet. So. Actually, let's go martial law throughout U.S. history. Throughout U.S. history. Okay. Cool, I didn't know I could do that. Let me go check that actually and see if it actually shows up like that or not on YouTube here, and if it's going to fuck me over on that one then. So I feel like that should show up then. Let me just check that real fast. Okay, so maybe I'll go everything. Yep, okay, it did show up. Martial law throughout U.S. history. Sweet. Sweet. Alright. So continuing on with the rest of this list then. From the 1917 Houston riot there. We had Texas Governor William P. Hobby declares martial law in response to the Longview race riot of 1919. Good God, Texas. Y'all got all kinds of fucking riots going on there, dude. Like back-to-back governors, too, man. You got one in 1917 and then another one in 1919. Like, holy shit, bro. So, let's check this one out now. Longview race riot was a series of violent incidents in Longview, Texas between July 10th and 12th of 1919 when whites attacked black areas of town, killed one black man and burned down several properties, including the houses of a black teacher and a doctor. It was one of the many race riots in 1919 in the United States during what became known as the Red Summer. I actually remember that because it was there was a show that they did on USA several years ago now, and it only lasted for one season. I forget what it was called offhand, but it was actually a decent series, and I wish it. The problem with the series was it started out very slow, and people just kind of tuned out quickly what it was then, because it wasn't until about halfway in it started getting really good, is what it is there. Because it was one of those series that really should have been on Netflix or something like that, so you could basically just binge it all at once, is what it is there. And yeah, I know for a fact they actually talked about the whole Red Summer thing during that, because it was actually like a lot of like terrorism going on there. That was all a lot of like, communist bullshit related is what it was there anyway. So, but yeah, so this is just one of many times in 1919 that you had race rioting that became known as Red Summer there. It's a period after World War One, known for numerous riots occurring mostly in urban areas. This riot ended after local and state officials took actions to impose military authority and quell further violence. After ignoring early rumors of planned unrest, local authorities appealed to the governor for forces to quell the violence. In a short time, the Texas National Guard and Texas Rangers sent forces to the town, where the Guard organized an occupation and curfew. Said some men were shot in numerous black homes and businesses were burned prior to the arrival of the law enforcement and military units. Says one black man was shot and killed by armed whites before the National Guard occupied the town. No one was prosecuted for the events, although numerous whites and blacks were arrested. Says black suspects were taken to Austin for their safety. Half were advised against ever returning to that area of Longview. That's kind of pathetic, dude, being like, yeah, you should probably just get the fuck out of here for your own safety. Maybe head that direction. Like, that's really fucked, dude. I'm not even going to lie on that one. Yeah, that's really fucked up, bro. Continuing on here, we got General Francis C. Marshall declares martial law after a lynch mob attempts to storm the Lexington, Kentucky courthouse in 1920. It lasted for 14 days, apparently. You got General Charles Barrett declares martial law in response to the Tulsa, Oklahoma race riot of 1921. I'm pretty sure this is known as the Tulsa. I'm pretty sure this is Black Wall Street, if I'm not mistaken, with this one. So let's just go check that to confirm on that one. I'm pretty sure this one was the Black Wall Street Massacre, though, is what it was. Yep, that's what I thought. Yeah, this was the. This is Black Wall Street. So, which, by the way, this fucked up part is, dude, having grown up here in the state of Ohio, I didn't even know this happened until, like, legitimately right before lockdowns in 2020, when one of my friends now, who I just met back then, brought it up, and I'm like, wait, what is Black Wall Street? He, like, goes into this whole explanation. I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, why the fuck did I learn about this as a kid? And he's just like, exactly. And yeah, it's just fucked up, dude. So, because that's like U.S. history that should be taught to us, is what it is, dude. Like how fucked up. And again, that goes back to the whole Klansman thing, is what it is there, dude. That was attacking what would have been like a good black district area there. That would have been people trying to make a life for themselves, is what it is there, and make it go. So, just fucked up shit, man. Is what it is. And then we got Ohio Governor A. Victor Donahue declares martial law in Niles following the anti-Klan riot of 1924, lasted for 10 days apparently. Let's see. I gotta check this one out. So this is my home state here. Let's see, 6 or 7 cars were overturned and the Klansmen were attacked with bricks, bottles, and clubs. Reports noted between 2,500 and 2,000 people participated in the melee. Although many injuries were reported, no deaths seemed to be taking place. In May 2024, Niles, Ohio, Ku Klux Klan paraded through the city. Okay, that was Knights of the Flaming Circle. Which really should be Knights of the Flaming Circle jerk, honestly, because that's what it really were, honestly. Oh, wait, okay. So apparently these Knights of the Flaming Circle were actually against the Klan. I love how it says anti-Catholic Ku Klux Klan. Like, what? So apparently they were like anti-Christ is what it is then. Okay, so it says Knights of the Flaming Circle was a militant organization founded in 1923 to fight the anti-Catholic KKK. They were part of an opposition that included politicians, labor leaders, and immigrant groups. Membership was open to anyone who opposed KKK and was not a Protestant. Man, like, religion always steps up back into it, doesn't it? So they were significant support amongst various ethnic groups in Pennsylvania and West Virginia, said Bryce Brewer. Has written that instead of only admitting whites, native-born Protestants, as the Klan did, the organization vowed to accept anyone who was anything other than that. Okay, these people were good people then, apparently. Yeah, I assumed this was actually part of the Klan. That's why I said that originally. But that is kind of a stupid name, though. By the way, really nice of the Flaming Circle. Like, really, guys, like you couldn't come up with something better than that. Couldn't just come up with a group called like Fuck the KKK or something like that, dude. Seriously, like that would have been a better name, honestly. Or Fuck the Klan or something like that would have been then. So anyway. It said they were one of a number of national organizations in the U.S. organized in the 1920s to oppose the growing influence of the KKK. Notable outbreaks of violence took place in the Mahoning Valley of Ohio and in Bloody Williamson County of southern Illinois. And this is during Prohibition era, too, by the way. This is during early to mid 1920s. The Klan preliminary targeted Catholics and immigrants instead of blacks. They supported the Volstead Act during the era of Prohibition and were willing to enforce the liquor laws through vigilantism, blamed Catholics for bootlegging and informed on moonshiners to local law enforcement, blamed the lack of enforcement of the Volstead Act on corrupt local government or local law enforcement. This one Klan member wrote the following, referring to Catholics as fish eaters, a derogatory reference to the Catholic practice of eating fish on Fridays during Lent, obviously. By the way, that was actually, I think, before Lent, because there was a thing back in the day where actually with Catholicism, you would not eat any kind of meat. It was even on like Wednesdays. So my uncle actually still practices shit like that. And I'm just like, why, dude? We live in a time period where you actually have like meat. Eat the fucking meat. Like, come on, man. Anyway, it says, quote, we have a Klan sheriff, but our prosecuting attorney is a fish eater and will do anything he can to eat anything he can to fish the Klan. So at times the Klan burned crosses in front of Catholic homes. The name Knights of the Flaming Circle refers to the Klan's burning cross. Oh, okay, that makes more sense then. Since 1923, the same year the organization was founded, the editors of Catholic World wrote that Catholic citizens would act against the Klan in self-defense, even to the extent of bloodshed. So in some parts of the country, Catholic members of the Red Knights responded with, quote, mass armed counterattacks, significant enough for the National Guard to be called during at least one of these actions. Damn, dude. That's pretty fucking hardcore. And it got Ohio here. It says August 23rd, 1920, or August 15th, 1923. A Klan motorcade from East Liverpool, Ohio, and Chester, West Virginia, came downriver to Steubenville, Ohio, where they were met at a hotel for dinner. The opponents of the Klan members of the local Fleming Circle gathered outside the hotel. 6 or 7 cars were overturned, and Klansmen were attacked with bricks, bottles, and clubs. Reports noted that between 2,500 and 3,000 people participated in this melee. Although many injuries were reported, no deaths seemed to take place that day. It said May 2024, Niles, Ohio, the KKK paraded through the city. Violence prevented a second parade from taking place the next month in June. The Klan rescheduled for November 1st, 2024, of 1924. Sorry, brain is not working properly because it's almost 2 a.m. So yeah, November 1st, 1924. So Knights of the Flaming Circle announced plans for a competing counter march, promising 10,000 participants in that march. On October 29th, someone bombed the house of the city mayor's the city's mayor because he refused to revoke the parade permit. So tensions escalated and resulted in 18 hours of full-blown rioting, ended only with 10 days of martial law. Only in the last few years has research focused on Italian American resources and eyewitnesses accounts. Jesus. So are they saying it was Italian Americans that were the ones that like fucked up the Klan in that situation? I'm confused. Like that's just weird. So then it goes on from there basically of this group's organization being around. So very interesting, dude. Very interesting. So anyway, back to the guide thing. Here's what it was. He had that one in 1924. Then we had, again, Texas. Jesus Christ, Texas. Texas Governor Dan Moody declares martial law in response to the Sherman Riot of 1930, lasting 14 days. What was the Sherman Riot? I'm assuming it's a guy named Sherman that was involved in this, probably. Okay, this says lynching of George Hughes. Okay. Lynching of George Hughes has led to what is called the Sherman Riot. Took place in Sherman. Okay, there we go. Sherman, Texas, 1930. African American man accused of rape and was tried in court died on May 9th when the Grayson County Courthouse was set on fire by a white mob who subsequently burned and looted local black-owned businesses. It says martial law was declared on May 10th, but by that time, many of the Sherman's black-owned businesses had been burnt to the ground. 39 people were arrested, 8 of whom were charged, and later a grand jury indicted 14 men, none for lynching. By October 3031 or 20, sorry, by October 1931, one man received a short prison term for arson and inciting a riot. The outbreak of violence was followed by 2 more lynchings in Texas, 1 in Oklahoma, and several lynching attempts. Damn, dude. Okay, so that one happened right during the Great Depression then. So, makes sense on that, I guess. And we got acting Texas Governor A.M. Alkin Jr. declares martial law in response to the Beaumont race riot of 1943. Like, how many of these were, like, I swear to God, like, half of these were in Texas at this point, dude. Like, Jesus. Apparently, the Beaumont race riot lasted for 5 days there between June 15th and June 20th. Then we got Maryland Governor J. Millard Tawes declares martial law in response to the Cambridge riot of 1963. So that was the last one for the riots and stuff. Then we got labor disputes in America. We got Pennsylvania Governor John Frederick Hartnott declares martial law during the Scranton General Strike of 1877. I don't know if this was one of the actual Insurrection Act ones, but I think it was one of the other ones that was like close to it, if I'm not mistaken. We got Idaho Governor N.B. Wiley declares martial law during a violent struggle between mine operators and miners in and around, not sure how to pronounce those words, in 1892. We got Pennsylvania Governor Robert E. Pattison declares martial law during the Homestead Strike of 1892. Then we got Illinois Governor John Riley Tenner declares martial law in Penna in response to the coal miners' strike in 1898. Lasted for 4 days, apparently. Then we got Idaho Governor Frank Sternberg declares martial law during a violent struggle between mine operators and the Western Federation of Miners in and around that same area that was talked about before. This one was in 1899 for that duration was 2 years on that one, by the way. I think that was actually one of the insurrection acts, if I'm not mistaken, back then. Or damn close to it anyway. Then we got Pennsylvania Governor William Stone declares martial law in several counties during the coal strike in 1902. We got Governor James Peabody declares martial law in Teller County during the Colorado Labor Wars of 1903, lasted for 1 month and 28 days. Got Governor James Peabody declares martial law in San Miguel County during the Colorado Labor Wars in January 1904, which lasted for 2 months and 9 days on that one. Like, I might as well just kept them going at that point, dude, because it just was one after another. Jeez, yeah, it was just one after another on this one, dude. Yeah, so you had that dude do one from December 4th, 1903 to February 2nd, 1904 for that one in the one county. And then it was January 4th, 1904 to March 13th, 1904 for this other county in Colorado. And then we had Peabody again in San Miguel County declaring martial law during the labor wars of March 23rd, 1904 to June 15th, 1904. It's like, damn, dude. Like, isn't it the same county, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, San Miguel County both times there. So, okay. So he ended the first declaration on March 13th and then redeclared 10 fucking days later. Like, why wouldn't you have just continued the declaration, buddy? Like, obviously there was disputes going on there where people weren't happy with it. That's why they went a week and a half later and were like, fuck this guy. Like, Jesus. And then you got fucking Peabody again declaring martial law in Los Alamos County. from March 23rd to June 6th. And then finally, that was into that one. Then we got West Virginia Governor William E. Glasscock. Oh, man, I got to see what this motherfucker looks like. Yeah, we got to look this guy up now. Wow. Yeah, that's exactly what I assume a guy named Glasscock to look like, too, to be honest with you. Like, man, that guy had... You cannot tell me that dude wasn't fucking hazed like a motherfucker back in those days. That's just funny. So, anyway, yeah, you have West Virginia Governor William E. Glasscock declares martial law during the Paint Creek/Cabin Creek strike of 1912. Then the same governor declared martial law again for that same reason a couple months later, who it was there. So, yeah, the first one was from September 2nd to October 15th. And then it was again from November 15th to January 10th, 1913. Ironically enough, that was 100. I'm trying to think now. Or no, what? Not quite 100. Because I was born in 85, so that would have been 72 years before my birth was when that ended, actually. So that's kind of cool. Oh, and then we got Glasscock again declaring martial law after the Bull Moose special attack on the Holly Grove miners settlement in 1913. And then we got Indiana Governor Samuel Ralston declares martial law during the Indianapolis streetcar strike of 1913. I believe this was on, they had, it was like the trolley cars and stuff like that they were refusing to run and stuff like that, and that's why that would have been declared martial law there, what it is there. I think it was like a pay dispute or something. Then we got Montana Governor Samuel Stewart declares martial law after the dynamiting of the Butte Miners Union in 1914. That's some crazy shit, man. Then we got General Leonard Wood declares martial law in Gary, Indiana, in response to the steel strike of 1919. So I assume this was all during the this would have been like the fall then of Red Summers, what would have been there. So. Then going back to Texas, we got Texas Governor William P. Hobby declares martial law in response to the Galveston longshoremen strike of 1920. Then we got Governor James Caldwell declares martial law in Mingo County during the West Virginia Coal Wars of 1920. I'm not going to lie, that's kind of badass. The Coal Wars of 1920. Which I assume was, again, like labor disputes between, like, coal miners and the unions and stuff like that, would be my assumption there. Let's see. Then we got Governor Ephraim P. Morgan declares martial law in Mingo County during the West Virginia Coal Wars in 1921. That one lasted for 15 months on that one. Then we got Nebraska Governor Samuel McClevey. Probably pronouncing that wrong. Declares martial law in Nebraska City in response to a packing plant strike in 1922. And we had Minnesota Governor Floyd B. Olson declares martial law in response to the Minneapolis general strike of 1934, which I'm pretty sure would have been at the tail end of the, Great Depression, or right after it then. I can't remember exactly how long that ended. Or lasted 4 days, it was. And we got Rhode Island Governor Theodore Green declares martial law in Salesville in response to the textile workers' strike of 1934. Then we got Georgia Governor Eugene Talmadge declares martial law in response to the textile workers' strike of 1934. And we also got Georgia Governor Eugene Talmadge declaring martial law in LaGrange in response to the textile workers' strike of 1935. So that pretty much just it was a follow-up to the actual first one, what was there. And we got Nebraska Governor Robert L. Cochran declares martial law during the Omaha tram strike of 1935 that lasted 6 days, apparently. And we got Indiana Governor Paul V. McNutt declares martial law in Terre Haute in response to the general strike of 1935, lasting for 19 days. Got Iowa Governor Nelson, I'm not sure I pronounced that guy's last name, Kressel, declares martial law in Newtown, Newton, in response to the 1938 Maytag Corporation labor dispute that lasted for a month. And we got Oklahoma Governor E.W. Marland declares martial law in Tulsa in response to a strike at the Mid-Continent Petroleum Corporation in 1938. And you got Minnesota Governor Orville L. Freeman declares martial law in Freeborn County in response to a meatpacking workers' strike in 1959. And that was the last one for the actual worker strikes. Then we got natural disasters, which I think is the last couple, if I'm not mistaken, which was Mayor R.B. Mason declares martial law after the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. That was 13 days long that lasted for. And then we got Mayor Walter C. Jones declares martial law after the Great Galveston Hurricane in 1900, and it lasted for 89 days there. And then we also got Florida Governor W.S. Jennings declaring martial law in Jacksonville after the Great Fire of 1901. And going back over to Ohio, we got General George H. Wood declares martial law after the Great Dayton Flood of 1913, lasting for a month there. So, and we also have the other ones here, which was Congress imposes martial law on the former Confederacy as part of the Radical Reconstruction in 1867. And you had Oklahoma Governor John C. Walton declares martial law while challenging KKK activity and resisting a KKK-led impeachment in 1923. You got Oklahoma Governor William Alfalfa Bill Murray declares martial law during the Red River Bridge War of 1931. Same governor declaring martial law during a nonviolent dispute between the state government and oil producers over oil production limits in 1931. We got Texas Governor R.S. Sterling declaring martial law during a dispute over oil production limits between the state government and federal courts in 1931. Again, back to Oklahoma Governor again. That same Murray guy declares martial law during a nonviolent dispute between state government and oil producers in May of 1932. Same dude declared the same shit in June of 1932. Jesus. Same guy declared the same shit in 1933. Jesus Christ, dude. Like, maybe just do one giant declaration there, bud, instead of doing like a bunch of different ones. And then we got the same Oklahoma governor there. Declares martial law as part of an attempt to force Oklahoma City to create segregation zones in 1933. And then finally we got Georgia Governor Eugene Talmadge declares martial law as part of his Coupe de Highway Department in 1933, lasted 39 days. We got Arizona Governor Benjamin Moser declares martial law in response to the federal effort to prevent construction of the Grand River Dam in 1934. Oklahoma Governor E.W. Marland declares martial law during a dispute over drilling for oil on the grounds of the state capitol building in 1936. Rhode Island Governor Emmett Quinn declares martial law in Pawtucket during a dispute over the operations of racetracks in 1937. And we got Georgia Governor E.D. Rivers declares martial law as part of his attempted coup de highway department in 1939. Oklahoma Governor Leon C. Phillips declares martial law in an effort to prevent the completion and operation of the Grand River Dam in 1940. And apparently that was the last one. So, yeah. Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit for sure. So, anyway, I'm getting fucking exhausted. So, and it's also like almost 2 a.m. and I got some stuff I gotta do before I go to sleep. So, yeah, I'm gonna call it a night on this one. I think we're gonna start doing like history lesson stuff on this channel pretty soon. Is what it'll be, dude. Just like because we got like it's like we're like living through like history of America right now is what it is. Like obviously with like like so many things that can potentially go like crazy in like the span of like a couple minutes. Is what it is there. But at the same time, we also have seen so many things right now throughout like U.S. history that I've just talked about in the last like hour. Here is what it is. Not even an hour, probably like 45 minutes actually. that I feel like we need to talk about more of that stuff and like how it relates to today's stuff because there's a lot of them back then. Like look at like honestly look at how many labor disputes happened there because of like it was either just like unions being dicks is what it was, or it was like that you had like state governments versus like federal government for like oil production and stuff like that here in America. So and of course you had all those race riots and stuff like that back in the day too, for that matter. So or it was like some black dude raping some white kid basically, and that's what caused like a riot here in Akron, and 124 years ago is what it was, dude. So at least I assume that kid was white anyway, but I could be wrong. I assume they're white given the fact there's a bunch of white guys wanting to beat his ass is what it was then, dude. So, but yeah, crazy stuff, man, for sure. And yeah, I think it's time to start looking into history again, dude, and just figuring out what's going to go on there, what it is. But yeah, I couldn't find anything about like the 4 or 5 events that would lead to martial law, what it is there, because honestly, like look at all those ones that were anywhere from like 50 to 100 years ago or more, and it was just like one declaration by like a governor or like even a mayor for that matter. So I would assume that honestly it would just be like, now granted those just seem more localized, and I'm assuming with like if it were to be like a nationwide kind of martial law or something like that, it would definitely have to be like multiple events, whether it be black swans or whether it be created chaos and stuff like that from the government and shit like that, or whoever else for that matter. Don't want to do us harm, just breaking into our country illegally is what it is here, so who knows. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the day, though. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see y'all on the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe, stay vigilant, all that good shit. And always be checking out the flight patterns going on in this country, dude, because there's some crazy shit going on for sure, man. There's some weird-ass balloons flying around right now, and there's one that is about almost halfway into Nebraska currently. That's been going for quite a while now. And then there is 4 of them near Sioux Falls, South Dakota right now. And they've been around there for a couple of days now, it seems like. So I don't know if that's like Chinese doing fucking shit over there or what that is, dude. Or actually, sorry, there's 5 of them in that area. Well, there's 4 of them in Sioux Falls specifically, and then there's one that's like almost all the way that way, heading towards the outskirts of, looks like Minnesota, almost into looks like it's heading towards Wisconsin right now is what it is there. So that's what I'm looking at right now to tell you this. It's that one Lawfully Armed told us about the other day, this flight tracker thing. Here's what it is. The planefinder.net. And yeah, there's this one right here in Nebraska, and then there's 1, 2, 3. There's 2 right here on top of each other pretty much, and there's a 4th one right there. They're all near Sioux Falls area there. And then there's this one over here that's heading, looks like towards Wisconsin right now. So it might be right over Iowa currently. I think these ones are like little choppers or something like that. And then I'm going to go further over here to my state, actually, because there was one in Columbus earlier that I saw that was definitely doing some weird grid pattern shit right here. Yeah, I think this one specifically might be for the like the cops or whatever. They're either doing like grid searches or it's like suspect searching and stuff like that to make sure nobody's doing any kind of shady shit down there in like the downtown area, because it makes sense why they keep doing like circling around the downtown area there. So, and then again, it might be like a life flight thing too, for that matter, and that's why they keep doing like back and forth, because it would be the hospitals and shit then. So it might be something like that. Let's go ahead and check out New York real quick, actually, because there should be some ones going on over there right now. Check out this guy right here. Okay, that's not really much of a pattern at all that one's making. It's Ithaca area. Just trying to see if there's anything where it would show me like Buffalo. Yeah, there's Buffalo right there, but there's nothing around it right now. So I don't know, man. And of course, you got Canada up here is what it is. Whatever. It's interesting though. There's definitely some grid searching going on by government stuff, is what it is there too. They're looking for some shit. So yeah, look out for that stuff, dude. And if it's around you, that there's like some kind of crazy like zigzaggy patterns and stuff, dude, like get the fuck out of town, basically, and out of the state potentially if you can. Because shit would not be good on that one, bro. So anyway, but yeah. Other than that, though, that's where I'm at for the night. I will be back at some point this week. I'm not sure exactly when yet. If it'll be a grandstand in the next couple of days, or if it'll be not until Thursday, or Buckshot Thursday, or whatever. But either way, I'll be back at some point with something. So have a good one, y'all. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and yeah, if worst comes to worst, like you know, zip the fuck out of town if you have to, man, or possibly out of your state entirely if you can get a plan to go to another state or something like that for a little bit of time, because shit might go fucking nuts here pretty soon is what it is, and the last place that you want to be is in certain states that have like a lot of ability to be soft targets because of our dumbass fucking government right now is what it is, dude. So yeah, it's not going to be a fun day, man, for sure. That being said, before I do go today, I think I finally got my my full tang knife finally sharpened up now to the point where it's actually, you know, in good shape. I was doing that last night during Honda's chat and even Tactical's chat a little bit. I was taking it through the sharpener and just sharpening the shit out of what it is there. So and I finally got it to a point where it can cut through some stuff pretty good, actually. So in fact, let me go ahead and do a little demonstration here. See how good this is actually cutting right now. Yeah, pretty good. There. Yep, that does a pretty good cut now. So, a lot better than it was, dude. It was barely doing like mixed of these papers earlier, so this is pretty hard shit too. So I might do another few swipes through the thing to make sure it's like razor sharp. But yeah, I think it's pretty good right now, is what it is. So I also got my my name knife in this little thing that's all nice and sharp right now. I need to get out my Mora knife and see if I can get the rust and shit off of that thing, and then maybe give it a couple of swipes too. I don't think it needs much of anything though. I think it's already kind of the point where I can get my hair off my arms and stuff like that. So I would think it's maybe these two that would be the ones that actually maybe need a little bit more, you know, just like a little fine tuning or whatever. Then, but yeah, it is what it is. I should probably take the one out of my pocket that I carry all the time too. That's a little guy like that, and maybe give that a few swipes with the fine part of the sharpener. Then, if that be the case, so polish it up a little bit or anything else. Then, so anyway, but yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do for the next couple of days. Here's what it is, and then of course, you know, work on packing stuff and whatnot, just in case, you know, so worst comes to worst, obviously. But other than that, though, that's where I'm at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see y'all on the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Peace out, everybody. Later.